Hello, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to episode 46 of my bee breeding guide. In this episode, we are going to go all the way to the end of the noble line, past the historic, past the fossilized, onto the refined branch. The refined branch adds 4 new bees to the mix: the distilled, refined, elastic, and TARRY. And these beads actually add a lot of output. But first, let's go ahead and check this out. They are added by extra bees, and they like the normal conditions. They work slow, but they have normal lifespans, and they do need flowers. They do not work in the rain, or at night, or when under the ground in caves or anything like that, and they have no special effects. They're pretty typical standard bees. As a matter of fact, their biome conditions are normal. They have no tolerances. Pretty standard stuff. But the less than standard stuff, or more than standard, I should say, is the output. The distilled bee will only be giving you this stuff called oily comb. And you can use the oily comb to give you oily propolis, which will then give you oil. Now, all of these things, when I say only, all of these comb will stand a chance of giving you some combination of either beeswax and or honey drop. But mainly what I'm going after here is the oil, is the main component of the comb when run through the centrifuge. The refined bee will give you some of that oily comb, but it also will give you some of this petroleum comb, which can be flung into petroleum propolis, which can be used to make just plain old fuel. Next up, we have the elastic bee, which can give you 2 kinds of comb also. The amber comb, which will give you sticky resin for making rubber and sticky dynamite and some other things. And the latex comb, which just gives you rubber. Then finally we have the TARRY bee, which can give you fossilized comb for turning into coal dust, useful for making solar panels as well as a whole bunch of other things. And it can also give you just tar comb, which turns into wood tar propolis, which you can turn into creosote oil. So they're pretty good on having all kinds of output there. Pretty nice. But let's go ahead and take a look at the refined bees themselves. Which, by the way, if you are interested in downloading this map, I will be leaving a link for doing so in the description below. This map includes all of the stuff I've gone through in this series for all of the bee breeding things. I have 2 versions of it, one for before I recorded and one after I am finished and have put all the details and any minor fixes like a book missing or a sign missing or something. That way you can have both of them. The first one to mock me, I suppose, and the second one to get a better understanding over the stuff that I've gone over in the videos. But anyway, we're here about these refined bees. So the first one we're going to deal with is a distilled bee. The 8 that I have here represents how far away it is in breeding steps from a hive bee. So the industrious is a 6, the oily is a 7, so the next one up is an 8. But in order to get the oily bee, you are going to have to do the fossilized branch, which if you don't know how to do that, you can either watch my fossilized video or, whoops, I didn't name these. This one is the fossilized, I'll have to rename them, the fossilized branch, and this one is the industrious branch for getting the industrious bee. That's one of the problems that I am going to be fixing in the upload for the finalized version of the map. But anyway, I've got some stock here for you to play with if you do decide to download it. But let's take a look at the output here. I did get an oily princess, and I'm going to need to look at that for the generation. But we are here for the distilled bee. So let's see here. What's the age? 4 generations in. Not too bad. And just for curiosity's sake, let's take a look at the... Wow, the differences are very minimal. It's almost a purebred. Okay. Whoops. Well, I will leave this in this chest for you to take a look at if you wish. But let's, instead of dwelling on that, move on to the actual output. I have some of the purebred queens in here, the ones that you spawn in through NEI. And this is what you're going to expect typically from a life cycle of a queen. First off, you'll see that you get 2 drones out of your breeding situation and some of that oily comb there as a chance for an output. The oily comb will give you the oily propolis, about half a stack, and the honey drop, about 3/4 of a stack. Oops, don't need to look at that yet. Next up is the refined bee, after which the line is named. You will need some of these distilled bees that you just bred, as well as some more oily. Some stock in there to work with. So let's grab the queen to check the age and get this refined bee. Alright, it is 5 generations in, not bad. And there's the refined. Wow, that one's also very close. Got kind of lucky on these. So I will put these here for you to look at if you wish. And let's look at the typical output you can expect to get from the refined queen. I almost said 2 words there. I didn't make a stack of the petroleum comb in the centrifuge. Let me go ahead and grab some of that. Or did it make petroleum? No, I got the oil. Okay, that's what it was. Because I already have an example of the oil there. Sorry. But anyway, you can expect to get 2 drones, and it looks like up to 2 of the comb, some combination of them. And that petroleum comb will give you about half a stack each of the petroleum propolis and the honey drops. So I don't need this. Go away. Next up is the elastic bee, and the elastic bee is going to need some of these refined bees to make, and some resinous bees from the resinous branch. Hold on, that should say the refined branch, I think. I will have to check that. Give me just a second here. There we go, that fixed it. It is the fossilized branch. I apologize for that. But you can find the fossilized branch over there in that book. But let's, we'll make sure I didn't mess up on this either. Okay. There's some stock for you to work with, but we need the elastic queen. Alright. Let's check the age on that. Let me put this back up here. And it took 2 generations. Pretty straightforward on that one. And it's pretty close to a purebred as well. So I will leave these in here so you can take a look at those. But let's look at the output from the queens, the purebred queens of the elastic bee. Once again, you're going to get some of this, 2 of these elastic drones from a purebred. And you can get some amber comb, and if I'm lucky, there we go, latex comb. And it looks like up to 1, maybe if you're lucky, 2 comb for 1 cycle. The 2 different comb here. This was the amber? Yes. The amber comb will give you the sticky resin and a stack of beeswax. It only gives about half a stack of sticky resin. And the latex comb will give you some of the beeswax and honey drops, but it will give you a full stack of the rubber there when you put in a full stack of the comb. Moving on to the TARRY bee, the final bee in this line. It is going to require a refined bee, just like that one from over there. And this time it'll be the fossiled bee from the fossilized branch. And I've got some stock here for you to work with. But let's fossiled. There's the TARRY. And we'll grab this princess and see how long this took. And it won't necessarily take you the same amount of times to breed as it took me. It might take more, it might take less, don't know. But that looks pretty close to a purebred, not too far off. Okay, well, I will leave these here for you to look at if you wish, and let's look at the output from the queens of the purebred TARRY bees. Once again, you can expect to get 2 drones out of your endeavors, and some of this tar comb and fossilized comb are also possible outputs. And it looks like you can get up to 2 comb. Yeah, just 2 there. Might be able to get more if you're really lucky, but don't know. The TARRY comb, or the tar comb, will give you about 3/4 of a stack of this wood tar propolis, but only about half a stack of the honey drops. And I forgot the name, fossilized comb will give you about 3/4 of a stack each of the beeswax and honey drop, but only about half a stack of the coal dust. That's it for the output there. Now this branch doesn't have any bees that are used in later breeding, so this is pretty much the end of the line. You can use it obviously for getting lots of different material, so it's worth aiming for this branch if you can, but it's definitely not used in making any new species. You can use some of the traits obviously for selective breeding to add to other bees if you want. That's up to you. But like I said, they're not used in anything else. So that pretty much wraps it up for this branch of bees. So I thank you very much for watching. I hope I have answered any questions you may have and offered enough help to get you going on your endeavors. However, if you do have any questions or comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to respond as promptly as possible. If you like this video and you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to give me a like. I do appreciate that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my future stuff comes out. But this is where I'm going to have to wrap up, so thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.